Hi, my name is Divya. I have been inactive for the past 3 months and I'd just like to show you the amount of dust that has gathered on my shelves. Pretty disgusting. Booktube is primarily dominated by the young adult age category / genre, and the more you read these certain types of books, the more that you find there are certain traits and characteristics and patterns that you can spot in the vast majority of them. Now, today I'd like to point out 3 things that I've noticed happen in your generic young adult novel. I'm just forewarning you, not all young adult books are like this or have these traits. Some even have the forbidden O word. Originality. And I'm not claiming that having these certain traits are inherently bad exactly, it's just something that I've noticed across a lot of the books. So first of all, we start with the most obvious one, the 14 to 19-year-old protagonist. Now granted, I do think this makes sense. It is called young adult after all. You're not gonna want to be reading about a 45-year-old guy in a midlife crisis. You want people who are on the same age level as the demographic that you're targeting, which is teenagers. But with young adult, there's a very specific type of quirkiness, a very specific specialness. They're either someone with a hidden identity, leading a rebellion, finding a cure for a plague, trying to get world peace, de-establishing the government, manic pixie dream girl, or a 17-year-old girl who somehow has the vocabulary of a 50-year-old man. And they probably have a very lanky figure and mousy brown hair, and they're so very ordinary, but somehow they're special as well. And all of these leads us to beg the question, 16-year-old, where are your parents? Oh wait, they're either dead, irrelevant, or non-existent. It's meant to be about growth, it's meant to be about development, it's meant to be about finding out who you really are, looking to your reflection, you know, when will my reflection show who I am inside? But when you eliminate almost all responsible adult figures and you have a bunch of 15-year-olds running around pretending they know politics, trying to destroy the government, you have to consider what type of teenager exactly is going to be able to empathize with this situation. Under the assumption that the war / revolution / Armageddon / other is not a metaphor for the responsibilities and pressures that teenagers feel, and that these books are written to be #relatable to teenagers in some form and represent their struggles and are just not meant to be read for escapism purposes. Thank you, this was a disclaimer. I mean, when I was 16, I could barely even order at McDonald's, let alone unintentionally be involved in de-establishing the government while simultaneously being involved in a love triangle while simultaneously leading a rebellion. I mean, that might just be me though. I am a bitter lemon. Which leads me on to my next point, which is love. Romance. Who doesn't love reading about 15-year-olds declaring their unwavering, it has to be fate, you're my first contact with a boy and I've only known you for 3 days, but I love you because this is love at first sight, so it has to be real type of connection. I'm not gonna lie, I love a bit of hopeless romantic lovey-dovey stuff. I do me, but when you fall in love faster than it takes for me to finish a McDonald's meal, and that is pretty fast, let me tell you, it gets a little bit unrealistic. You're kind of stepping over the line a bit, Barbara. You might want to step back. Who is Barbara? I want to be reading about real, raw, and awkward teenage romances. I don't really particularly want to be reading about 6-foot, chiseled, 6-pack, broad shoulders. Somehow they're very skinny at the same time, pale skin, probably has a very tragic backstory. Green orbed, dark hair, broody, mysterious, bad boy, hunter wild, who is your knight in shining armor, doesn't believe that you're like other girls because somehow there's something wrong with other girls and somehow you're very special. They'll cure you of your mental illness, they'll show very stalker-like tendency, but it's okay, it's romantic. And they'll warn you to stay away from them because they're dangerous and they're not good for you. And boy, you are 16 years old. The author has told me you like to listen to the Beatles and read Shakespeare in your free time, so I'm not really sure why you think you're the mafia. And my last point of discussion is love triangles. Now, love triangles is something you see everywhere, but somehow they're kind of turning into love hexagons right now because, you know, the triangle wasn't enough. Illuminati confirmed. So love triangles may be there to sort of represent the idea of growth, in that we decide who we want to be in adolescence, and we decide what we value most in a person and the traits that we're attracted to. And okay, fine, but the problem is not a lot of books really care about the issue. A lot of time it's just, is she gonna go for this guy or is she gonna go for that guy? Now, have you noticed that it's almost never the other way around? It's never, is the guy gonna go for this girl or this girl? Is it a social thing, or is it because love triangles are written primarily for the female audience? I want to hear your thoughts about what you think about these traits, and if you have spotted any more in young adult, because I want to make this a series. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you stick around for next time and share your thoughts and opinions with me, and I'll see you next time.